Right, if you've just joined us on SABC3, welcome to you. You're watching The Globe on the SABC News channel. And this hour, we're focusing and marking Youth Day in South Africa, the International Day of the African Child across the continent. And we've got a special guest now. And to take us there, Africa's youthful population is said to hold the key to the continent's success. And we now speak to someone who knows a thing or two about youth entrepreneurship development and the challenges that come with that journey. I'm joined via Zoom by Siviwe Mkoka, who's the founder and CEO of the Youth Development Institute of Africa. Thanks so much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you, John, and good evening to your listeners.
All right, so Youth Day is a very important day for you as someone who's spent many years working with youth and trying to develop them. In 2020, what are the biggest issues that youth are facing that you're trying to overcome?
Thank you, Peter. Unemployment is the biggest issue. Youth entrepreneurship is another issue that is facing young people. Of course, with unemployment comes poverty. Poverty and unemployment are interrelated. You don't find a job, you become poor. You become poor, you struggle even more to find a job. It's interesting that Malefe, in your introduction, highlights a number of issues that young entrepreneurs are faced with, which need the social partners to collaborate, work together to assist young people. It's not that young people are lazy. It's not that young people don't want to do things. Young people want to be entrepreneurs, but they need support. They need support, Peter, with training and skills development. They need support with funding. They need mentorship. And they need markets. That's the most important aspect of entrepreneurship development. You can have a good product, a good service for your customers, but if you don't have enough numbers of those customers buying your product, that business is bound to not survive even the first 3 years of its establishment. So that's where corporate South Africa, that's where government, that's where all the citizens that can support young people are needed. The academe, that is the universities and training colleges, need to come in because entrepreneurship training is not intrinsic in our education system. You can be educated through up to a tertiary level, but no one teaches you to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. You can be a professional, but entrepreneurship is not taught at the university. So even if you're a doctor or a lawyer and you qualify for that trade, you would need to still be skilled and sharpened and brought into the culture of entrepreneurship, which needs a lot of resilience, a lot of other skills outside your trade that will ensure that you survive in the market.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the things that you do to assist and guide, but as a point of departure, I'm curious, can everybody be an entrepreneur? It almost seems as if you can't get a job, you're encouraging people to become an entrepreneur, but it surely can't be that easy, and not everybody is designed to be an entrepreneur. How do you figure that out?
That's a very interesting question, Peter, and it's one that academics and scholars have debated for a long time. I don't think we should be pushing everyone to be entrepreneurs, Peter, but at least we can push a good majority of South African young people to be small and medium business owners. The two are different. Entrepreneurship and small business ownership are different. And we need to assist them to become small and medium business owners. But here's a strategy, here's a trick. We need to encourage those entrepreneurs and small and medium business owners to participate at the lower end of the economy, which is the primary sector, which is labor intensive, it creates jobs. So one entrepreneur or one SMME creates 5 or 6 jobs instead of encouraging entrepreneurs at a very high level where they will create fewer jobs and we will have an even more concentrated economy than we have at the moment.
And I suppose as potential consumers, we have to be deliberate in saying we're going to support these young guys. I'm not going to go to all the places that I've normally gone to, or perhaps I'll say from my expenditure of 100,000 Rand, I'll allocate a portion specifically just for youth entrepreneurs.
That's correct, John. Sorry, Peter. It's 2 ways. It's the corporate sector that has to be responsible. I'm talking about big conglomerates. They have supplier development programs. They have entrepreneurship development programs. They should be deliberate in buying from small and medium businesses. In a normal economy, Peter, about 85% of the jobs are created by SMMEs. In our situation in South Africa, it's different. That's because our economy is concentrated and consumers tend to want, like you rightfully said, tend to want to buy those brands that are already in the big conglomerates market, the already concentrated market. We need to be deliberate in supporting small and medium businesses. They survive, the economy survives, and our young people will get jobs and the country will progress more.
All right, so I've just left school, I got matric, but didn't get enough to get into university, and I need to make a plan. I come to you, how do you help me?
First, we will, as YDI Africa, will assist you to identify your passion. And secondly, we'll help you formulate your idea and business plan, interrogate it with you, we take you along the process. And when we have identified a market where you can participate, and indeed in that market there is a buyer for your product, we then negotiate an agreement with the buyer of your produce. In other words, what we use as a strategy is called aggregation. So we bring together a number of producers, for example, of cabbage that are young people, and we negotiate an agreement with the buyer in the food value chain. In that way, we can assist young entrepreneurs to be sure of the market whilst they are concentrating on honing those skills that they need to grow.
Okay, yours is the Youth Development Institute of Africa, and I'm just wondering, is this a Pan-African initiative? Are we learning from our neighboring countries about how to do this mentorship and growing of young people? And I guess different countries and different states of development are forced to be innovative in different ways. And perhaps we can learn from Zimbabwe, from Zambia, from Nigeria, how to hustle, inverted commas.
Correct, Peter. In South Africa, as I said initially, our economy has been doing fairly well in terms of GDP, but over the years, it was unable to create the much needed jobs, especially jobs for youth. That's because there isn't enough participation of SMMEs. In Nigeria, for example, in Zimbabwe, as you said, you find a lot of SMMEs hustling on the streets and being supported by the communities and society. And in that way, you see differences and learnings that we can share between the countries. And that is why our organization is oriented towards learning from other African countries whilst we are improving our situation in South Africa.
All right, perhaps to end, what's your message to young people across South Africa and the continent today on this special day?
Well, Peter, this is a momentous day, and indeed it's a day that young people and children changed the trajectory of our struggle. The young people of today need to take it from where they left and improve the socio-economic situation of South Africa. South Africa has a huge potential in terms of our population structure, but that potential needs young people to wake up, stand up, and start doing something for themselves. In the same breath, we all need to support these young people as the corporate sector as well as government, and sharpen our strategies. And if we need to change things, change the way that we've been doing things since 2010, when we started to see the potential of a demographic dividend, and make sure that it becomes a reality. So to all young people, don't despair. There's going to be noise, lots of noise if you start your own business. Remain focused. There will be ups and downs, but remain focused and focus on your goal. Don't be afraid to say you don't know, and seek knowledge and information from those that know. In that way, you will grow as an entrepreneur, you will grow as an SMME. But be cognizant of the fact that our economy needs you. Once you're there, employ other young people. That's the message.
All right, and that's a very powerful message and inspirational one to leave this conversation on. Thank you so much indeed, and we wish you strength with the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ndoro, and have a good evening.
Thank you. That's Siviwe Mkoka, who's the founder and chairperson of the Youth Development Institute for Africa. Great talking to him, and yeah, let's work hard to try and help our young people. They are, of course, the majority in the population, and also the ones needing the most help.